This week on Nation's Business, we bring to you the highlights of the visit by the Minister for Forestry, Honorable Hossein Ngamu, to the Northern Division. The Ministry of Forestry is an important economic sector for Fiji. It is a resource base underpinned by the demand for sustainable management and conservation. It also contributes immensely to the food security needs of the nation and to the overall fight to reduce poverty. In this segment, Nation's Business will take a look at the Divisional Forestry Office in the Northern Division. The role of the Northern Division Forestry Office in Labasa is to ensure the sustainable management of forest resources in Vonolebo through licensing and the monitoring of all forest harvesting and processing operations as stipulated in the Forest Decree 1992. Nation's Business caught up with the Divisional Forestry Officer North, Mr. Tevita Mbulai, the man who runs the operation of the Northern Division Office.
In the Northern Division, we have three sections that looks after the operations in the Northern Division. So we have the timber production sections that looks after harvesting, the issuance of license for harvesting of forest, and also the monitoring of all forest operations, logging operations in the Northern Division. And then we have the extension section that basically looks after the expansion of our forest cover in the Northern Division, which with the main activities of reforestation and afforestation of idle lands, and also the lands that used to be forests but are no longer forests, also known as degraded forest area. And then we have the timber utilization section. This section basically looks after wood processing from the sawmill right to the export of timber products or wood commodities, such as sawn timber, plyboards, and other profile wood commodities like flooring, weatherboard, etc.
Vonolebo Forest covers a total land area of 554,254 hectares. Mr. Mbulai says with 16 established staffs working at the division office in Labasa, they look after 309,700 hectares of the forest cover, 314,360 hectares of the native forest, 29,117 hectares of the Fiji pine plantation, 13,714 hectares of the Fiji hardwood plantation, and 24,864 hectares of mangroves.
Basically, our core role in the Northern Division for the harvesting division is to ensure the sustainable management of our forest resource. We all know that our native forest is depleting at a rate that even is a challenge for the forest to recover due to conventional logging that is currently taking place. But the department is working very hard on with a focus on the sustainable management of our native forest resources.
This is our operation calendar for the extension section in the Northern Division. What we're trying is try to offset the carbon print, especially for what have been done so fast in the past during logging operation. You can see on this map we have highlighted where the sawmill has been located, and also we have highlighted the achievement in terms of reforestation program which we have done in the Northern Division in the past 2 years. In terms of reforestation program, we have a very big margin that we need to cover.
Recently, the Minister for Forestry, Honorable Hossein Ngamu, made a visit to the north to ensure the operation of the ministry in the division is effective and efficient.
And there's a lot of native species which grow on the catchment. So if we do not control now, then the pressure will be focusing on our native species. So I think so far in terms of reforestation program, Just we have been achieving our target. Our target for last year is 125 hectares. We've managed to establish 143 hectares. Our target this year is 125 hectares. Again, just last week we've managed to establish just the third quarter, end of third quarter. We have been planting according to the planting season. The planting season ends at April, which means majority of our target needs to be achieved on before end of April.
Harvesting is now is all trees that have 35 centimeter diameters above are harvested in the forest. So below 35 centimeter you are not allowed to harvest or to fell in the forest. So now the ministry is also working on trying to implement a new diameter limit for the industry.
In this segment, Nations Business will highlight to you the initiatives undertaken by the Ministry of Forest in partnership with the members of the communities in the Northern Division in making Vonoleu a happy and greener place to live in. To mark the 2018 International Day of the Forest with the theme Forest and Sustainable Cities, the people of the North gathered at the Katunivera ground located in Labasa town. Officiating as chief guest was the paramount chief of the Maduwata province, Ratu Williame Katunivere.
I would like to thank you for your presence today, and I believe you will all agree with me that this is an important event to celebrate the many contributions that our forests make to our economic, social, and cultural and environmental well-being.
Forest and trees are essential for maintaining resilient production systems in the communities and ecosystem.
We should be reminded that forests are the most biologically diverse ecosystems on land, home to more than 80% of the terrestrial species of animals, plants, and insects. They provide shelter, jobs, and security for forest-dependent communities and also act as a natural water filters, regulating water quantity and quality.
The planting of native tree species was part of the program to mark the auspicious occasion.
In terms of our replanting of forest, a total area of 143 hectares was replanted in Vonoleu during the last financial year, which is about 9% of the total area that was harvested. So to meet the demand for timber and other services provided by forestry, Fiji will need to continue to focus on the expansion of its forest and support investments in the reforestation of unutilized land and the rehabilitation of degraded lands and forests.
Mesti ni teman ni bikau nak kena nak matagi nak kena mai wana numi cikun dona sing ni tika gura-gura kau bawa bina-bina kan usama idau nak kena tiba kena kau na lomani gunung Kolambasa teman na buni sesangan matentu kena bulutin na bebesonin ragi sa do weekend na mai sa dondonungan na kena mentana dobatin na matentu anda betu konta kana kena tiba le una kau na nonda banua meroni valelita kana katkata ni nonda banua bosibi probai boto-boto na luben darangai murimai na buni bikanda sa tiba kana ngonoko.
It feels good because this is just a benefit for especially for the upcoming generations, just to tell them how important to plant a tree or how you can take care of it.
During the Minister for Forestry's tour to the north, he made a visit to the island of Mali in the Maduwata province. Mali Island is one of the communities in Vonoleu that is very active in clothing the island with native trees.
Kila seni kabu sakachiko na isema babiokani na buku ni ministry ngadabanga meu wabne binata kemini wakina na vonua na buku ni bitoko. Plato Sangawalangani Vito Kunichibu na Ministry to sa toko na sa katunga na sasanga ni Nonda Matanitu pag-usibi na kena waluti na bibi sa uninra dosa na bakilati wana turang.
Kita orang mau warita nga warara kita tu, maya alun ni kasar wadur cini malu sini puan. Mereka pun cumi dosa yang baki pun orang tu mai kata kata. Indonesian lagi lewuni nol surat cuma turang bisa. Memeri dan apa tukar ni kasar wadur. Well, Mali Island, in terms of planting, Mali is the highest community which has been planting native. I'm talking about forestry project. The target is 500 hectares. Out of all the communities in Fiji, Mali is one of the islands which has been planting on native species. Their target is 200 hectares to be planted in the next 2 years. It's not a 1-year project. It's a 3-year project. So currently they have already established more than 20 hectares. And not only that, we are encouraging them to also come up with a project, especially for alternative livelihood project which can help the communities in terms of sustaining their project. Yeah? So the community incentive payment that goes to the island is being controlled by the forestry. So we look into the agenda. There are some priority projects which have been pending from the communities. So we ask them to come up with those pending requests, and then we put them into priorities. What is being needed first.
Kali una roga binaka. Baltana donangonea sa utisaranga bagan donakau. Au sangena numatigo e bagala boirna ngonera ngembulmo imurmo. Indur kavaloloma ni sanga mandanga nambuka enonduna nen. Merangale buli karesini maybe meron may lagi na wasang. Iya ni samiti pa kina Kongo atur kanong bawin na kina. Kana malambale orna ngoner nangay tumbu mani mataga satu naka ernangay membula merabaga ngataka merabaga lengo kraklunga tigil endali bonong.
If we are successful with what we have been doing in Mali, we will try to replicate this project, this implementation, to other parts of Vonoleu. The good thing about planting in the Northern Division, the initiative comes from the community. It's not a up-bottom approach. The initiative, the interest coming from the community. Most of the requests which comes in from the community, which comes in for expression of interest are sown by the communities.
Our question for this week: who is the Minister for Waterways? A. The Honorable Lorna Eden. B. Honorable Mahendra Reddy. C. The Honorable Viam Pillay. D. Honorable Joeli Tawaki. If you think you know the answer to the question, please log into the Fijian Government Facebook page for your answer. 5 lucky winners will receive a copy of this week's Nation's Business DVD. Submit your answer before 4 p.m. Thursday, May 10th, 2018. In this segment, Nation's Business will bring to you the Minister's tour to 2 successful timber companies in Labasa that are utilizing waste log and how the timber industry is helping the economy in Vonoleu. The Honorable Hossein Ngamu's first visit was to Pinto Industries Limited at Navakama Susua Industrial Area.
We are here in the Pinto Industries. It's a program of the Honorable Minister visiting the Northern Divisions. We specifically chosen this area for the Honorable Ministers to visit the area. This is in line with the whole ministry's the ministry's objective is to utilize the waste wood, which is the downstream process. The waste woods are lying out there in the bush.
For Pinto Industries, even sawdust is sold to other markets in Vitilevu.
This all products, we are not throwing anything. It is all been sold. It is going to bar.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So the way we pack in this big bale, everything, and it is being completely loaded in the truck and it's going to Ba.
Ba to which company?
For Rusta.
Oh, Rusta.
Yeah.
Oh, Rusta.
Yes.
If you have a tour around this processing facility, you can see how they utilize a smaller piece of timber, regardless of which species they have. Because we have in the bigger industries, they are more focused on the species because of the end use. Maybe you go for the construction timber, or you go out for the jetty. But for this one, it used out there in the individual households, so they utilize it. Let's say, for instance, for the brush handle, the output for a person, for that operator that should be just visited is 200 pieces per day, which that is equivalent to 1,000 timbers per day. That's an indication of the high demand that we have here in the country.
Who is doing this? Supply all the hardware in India. Especially Vinod Patel is our big buyer. Big customers, yes. They are buying a lot of things from us. So we are utilizing a lot of timber. It's our 90% recovery from our sawmill. We are utilizing.
In Fiji, this is what we are trying to focus more on, finding out the alternatives and also the opportunity on how to better utilize these waste wood logs falling out. Because in the forest we just cut down the mentionable height, the branches are left out there in the bush. The branches, the small diameter, and these are the ones that have been lying rotten. If they are not used by the landowners for the firewood, they'll be lying rotten there in the bush. But we want to fully utilize a single tree when we want to cut down, right from the stump right to the branches. We want to utilize them and to get out the optimal economic value out of it.
So all the offcut for 3x2 comes here. Yeah. Wooden broom with wooden handle.
I must congratulate you and thank you very much for your dedication and commitment, and you have really on board and the vision of our government. You have really participated well in transforming Fiji, especially the northern region. You are true sons of the north, and you really display what is well requested by the government in creating economic activity that can enhance the life of our community.
Next, the minister and his entourage visited Vonolevu Pellets Limited, located at Vunika, just outside Lambasa town. In the year 2000, Vonolevu Pellets Limited started as pellet makers, and it is the current prime wooden pellet makers not only in Vonolevu but Fiji-wide.
In year 2013, under the Look North policy of the government, with our further consultation and commitment to Forestry Department and the compliance required to manage and prosper this business, we went on to purchase a LT70 with master plan.
Vonolevu Pellets recently purchased a portable sawmill, and it has set the platform for all the portable mills in Vonolevu in terms of compliance, sawmill regulation, and production as it achieves the highest recovery rate.
Today we are witnessing the progress from a small factory pellet makers to a sawmill. Vonolevu Pellet is one of the best sawmill in the Northern Division in terms of production, in terms of compliance to regulation in place. As you can see around, they are well organized in terms of log yard management, workplace, and it is a role model to all the sawmills in the Northern Division.
So we thank the government of the day for the timely NDP scheme station in the north, which boosted many business, not only this business, but many other business that is kept in the uphold in the Northern Division. And we salute and thank the government of the day.
I must congratulate the directors, especially for the vision. As I have heard from the brief, this is the first pellet industry in the north and the biggest one in Fiji. So you have been supplying most of the outlets, not only in the north, but most of your customers are in the mainland. So once again, thank you for the vision, and thank you for your commitment and hard work. You really encouraging our sector in reaching the standards of service delivery.
The ministry assisted the company from that pellet factory to a sawmill, and also they have a machines that are modern kind of machines, which we call the LT70 wood miser. In terms of recovery and production, they actually achieve more than 65 to 70% recovery. So in terms of forestry, we always give advice to the industries in terms of proper utilization of logs, in terms of resources that we have. They are the role models in terms of proper utilization. When we talk about recovery, we just talk about the amount of timber that comes out from a logs that go through the sawing process. For the forestry department, we recommend for good recovery, for highly recovery, is that it must be more than 50% recovery. From that recovery rate, we can gauge a performance of a sawmill in terms of how a particular sawmill can utilize logs in a proper way.
As a government has always emphasized and encourage all Fijians to work together, so that we can create the Fiji that's to prosper in such a way that our future generations will benefit. So I must thank the vision that you have established in the north, and government will continue to facilitate and assist you, especially the Ministry of Forest, in whatever way we can assist.
Government has opened up the economic participation of all Fijians to encourage ordinary Fijians in utilizing the local resources to generate employment and a source of income. This has been neglected by government in the past decades, and under the Bainimarama government policies have opened up small entrepreneurs to participate in the forestry sector.